Hi there, and welcome back to Knits in the Wild. My name is Jen, and this is episode 12 of my knitting podcast. It's been a while since I've been able to sit down and actually record. I recorded an episode about a month ago, and for some reason I just couldn't get it on into a video file, and I ended up not redoing it. So some of the stuff I shared there, I'll share again because I have a lot to share. So if you're new here, thank you for joining me. My name is Jen. I live in the capital region of upstate New York with my husband Jordan and our two cats, Cedric and Phoebe. They might be making some noises because they like to walk around and be cats. So if you hear anything strange, it could be them. Welcome to my podcast. So this episode is just going to be basically, so my last episode was, I want to say, July, so there's been a lot happening since then. It's fall, thankfully. Finally, sweater weather. I have a lot of finished objects to share. Some that I don't physically have on me because they were gifts and they've been given to the recipients. But first, let's start off by talking about last weekend. So last weekend I went to the Adirondack Wool and Arts Festival, which is a sheep and wool festival basically in the Adirondacks, or in Washington County, New York, which is in upstate New York, about an hour northeast of me because I'm in the Albany area. And it's very low-key festival. Lots of sheep and goats and yarn, and I will throw some footage from that festival at the end of this video if you'd like to check it out and see what it was like there. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and I will show you some of my purchases that I got at the festival. I would highly recommend checking that festival out if you live within driving distance or like day trip distance of Greenwich, New York, because it was really fun. It wasn't crowded. They had workshops. I attended one of their workshops in the morning, so I'll talk about that too. But it wasn't super crowded. It had all the elements of the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, which is happening in a couple of weeks in Rhinebeck, which I'm planning on going to as well. But it was just a lot less crowded and a lot more pleasant, I think. But it was fun. So let's talk about what I'm wearing. So obviously, if you follow the knitting world at all, you've probably seen Andrea Mowry's Tessellated pullover and Tessellated vest. So I decided to make the vest because I had the yarn in my stash that I needed. I was originally planning on making the rad plaid cowl, but then I saw the vest and I was like, I was going to use the same yarn for the cowl and I had enough, so I figured I would just make the vest. I don't have any vest in my wardrobe. I thought it would be a fun knit to try something new. I finished it the other day, freshly blocked. So the yarn I used was Juniper Moon Farms Patagonia Organic Merino is the main color, this gray. It's this very light, almost woolen spun yarn that is just really soft and just like really nice. And the suri that I used is, I can show. So the suri that I used is this, which I have a whole skein left over because I didn't use all of it. The Fiber Company's Zero. And this is a brush blend of suri alpaca, organic cotton, and merino wool, which is really nice to work with also. So that's the little fluffy pink part of the vest. And my color changing yarn, it calls for Spincycle, the pattern, but I use my hand spun, which I will show a picture of the close up, but like if I can show you the color changing, It's like this pastel-y pinks and greens, and this was my first 3-ply hand spun that I did as part of the Tour de Fleece back in July, which I talked about in my last episode. But I had a lot of that yarn, and I still have a lot left over. So it was perfect for the vest. And I really like how it came out, how it's kind of got this like muted rainbow effect. So the vest took me about a month to make, and I was pretty much just only working on the vest. It was pretty time consuming, but it was not that challenging. The pattern was easy to memorize, just slip stitches. I ended up using, I think the pattern called for US size 4 needles, and I ended up using that. But for some reason, I measured my gauge and my swatch, and it was accurate, but when I was making the vest, it came out a little small. So I made the size 5, which is a 48 bust circumference, which would give me 0 positive E's because that is what my bust measures at. And it ended up at 44, I believe, when I measured it before I blocked it. So I was able to block it out to 48 inches, thankfully, because it was really snug when I tried it on. And it's still, it's a little, it's fine. I like how it fits now. It's the only other modifications I made were that I added 2 inches to the length because 10 inches would have been like right under my bust and that would have looked awful. But I think it looks good because I'm planning on wearing it over collared shirts, and I wore it over a dress on Saturday and I liked how that looked. Today I'm wearing it as a tank top because it is, I want to say, it's going to be 75 degrees today, so it's going to be warm. It's already pretty warm in here, so I wanted to wear a hand knit, and I just figured I'd wear it as a vest because it looks good, I think. But yeah, so that's my tessellated vest. I am unsure if I'm going to wear it to Rhinebeck. I'll have to see what the weather's like. I have another project I was originally going to wear to Rhinebeck that I've finished. I made the Alpine Bloom tee by Caitlin Hunter, and I finished that about a month ago. And this is my Alpine Bloom. If you can see, it's got this beautiful colorwork yoke, this floral motif. It has this beautiful lace neckline and lace cuffs that I love. Yeah, the Alpine Bloom is done. So the only problem I ran into, well, I ran into a few problems. I didn't alternate skeins of yarn because I'm lazy, and I got a really darker skein at the bottom, which you can see here. I mean, it's not terrible, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it now. It's not really that noticeable when I'm wearing it, so hopefully nobody notices. But yeah, this was going to be my Rhinebeck sweater. But then I decided to make this, so I don't know which I will end up wearing. So yeah, when I made this, so the cuffs of the sleeves are knit separately and then grafted on using Kitchener stitch. And when I made the first cuff, I ended up casting on the wrong number of stitches for the sleeve for the size below. I believe I made the size 5. Yes, I made the size 5. And I accidentally cast on the stitches for the size 4, so I had too less. I didn't have enough stitches to graft to the sleeve, which they had more stitches. So I kind of just like fudged it and like decreased stitches and increased stitches until I got the right amount. And it actually you can't even really tell which side I screwed up on. So that was good. So for the second sleeve, I just made sure to look at the right size for the right number of stitches for the sleeve cuff, and it worked. And this I also lengthened the body because that's what I do. Yeah, so I'm happy with this. It's made with the yarn I believe I showed last episode, many moons ago, that I got at the spinning room in Altamont, which is one of our local yarn shops. It is called, it's by Plymouth. It's called Yakima, which is a blend of yak and merino, and it's really soft. And this is the color Sienna. And I had a really hard time picking a contrast color for this main color because it's like a gold, so it was kind of hard to find something I thought would look good with it. But I ended up using Spincycle's Dyed in the Wool in Rusted Rainbow, which is this like beautiful dark red rusty with some blues. And then I got a second skein of another one of their colorways called Mzuzu. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mzuzu, which is a dark rust at the bottom here for the leaves. So yeah, I thought those two looked really good together. So this is my Alpine Bloom. I saw that Caitlin Hunter is releasing the sweater version of this, which I probably won't make because this was a labor of love, and while I liked it, I probably won't make another one, but you never know. So yeah, that's another possible option for Rhinebeck. So my guess is in 2 weeks from now, 2 or 3 weeks from now, when Rhinebeck happens, the weather could either be rainy and in the 60s, which would be nice for sweaters, but could also be 75 or 80 degrees. Like today, it's supposed to be 75. Just never know around here in upstate New York. They like to say, as we like to say, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes because it'll change. So yeah, if you're looking at the forecast right now for Rhinebeck, don't, because it's not accurate. I can tell you that right now. So yeah, that's upstate New York for you. Okay, so I have a lot of finished objects to share because it's been a minute since I've done this. Okay, so let's start with the most recent. So last night I was able to finish a little hat for my husband. He's been begging me to make him a hat, like a low profile beanie, and I finally did it. It's just a basic black beanie hat that I made. I started in April. It was kind of my back burner project whenever I needed something small to bring on the go. So yeah, this is the free pattern called the Cozy Fit Beanie. Don't even know who it's by. I'll have to write that in the notes. But the yarn I used is just a Cascade fingering, extremely inexpensive yarn. Just has a basic stockinette with some decreases, no rib brim. It's just got the rolling hem, which he really likes. So I still got to block this. I'm going to do that today. But yeah, he's happy with it. He tried it on. It fits. My next most recent finished object, I think, is this. This is the Summer Camp Kerchief by this is by Ashley Adams, which I saw on Instagram. And I had leftover Magpie Fibers Equinox sport yarn, which is a beautiful linen and silk blend that I really wanted to use because it was expensive and fancy. And I thought I should make something out of it. So, yeah, was easy, cute pattern. There's also 2 other versions available in the pattern if you purchase it. Some with eyelets, some without eyelets. I saw this on Hand Knit Letters Instagram and then cast it on. So thank you, Becky, for showing me this pattern. Yeah, so I like it. I mean, I like to wear bandanas in the summer, especially while I'm biking. I don't know why, just to keep the sun off my neck. But this one is nice because it's linen and silk and it keeps you cool, especially if you were to like put some cold water on it. Okay, there goes my Roomba. Okay, so the next finished object, which I showed, I believe I showed this on the last episode because I had just started it, and it is the cloud hat. And this is another free pattern. Look at that. It's so soft. Okay, this is a hat I knit out with Knit Picks High Desert Worsted in the color Wildfire. Like, look at how gorgeous that is. This is going to make a great winter hiking hat in the snow when you need a bright pop of color. I love it. And this I held with Lang Yarn's Alpaca Superlight in red. So, yeah. And I found I had this little pom-pom in my stash, and I think it's just so cute with this. Yeah. This is the Cloud Hat by the Lemon Kid. And this is a free pattern on Ravelry. Highly recommend it. Very easy. I knit this up in like 2 days. Very cute. Next finished object, just a simple pair of socks that I had on the needles for a while. I finished these, I think, in July or August. These are the pattern is the My Favorite Socks pattern by Kristin Lehrer, and the yarn is Birch Hollow Fibers Sylvia sock in the colorway Jellybean, which I think is just so cute. This mint green with speckles definitely looks like jelly beans to me. So yeah, just a basic vanilla sock, which I've never strayed from. So that is it for finished objects that I can show you. The next couple finished objects were gifts that I made for a few new babies that were born in my life. So I have a new little niece. She was born in August, and also my husband's best friend had a baby in August. They were born like 3 days apart. So I made a baby hat for our friend's baby, and I can just throw up a picture of that. It's called the Maine baby hat, free pattern on Ravelry. I used Cascade Yarn's Heritage Sock Yarn, held with some of my Farmer's Daughter fibers, Rocky Mountain Purls sock base that I got from their sock club called Bitterroot, and this was the contrast little mini that they sent for a little some pink for a little baby girl. So I thought it was cute. So this is, I think I showed last time. I started it in June. My Winter's Beach cardigan is almost done with the body. I started this in June as a long-term project, and I really want the finished object. So I've been working on this a lot the past couple days. I'm lengthening the body from like 13 inches to 17 inches, I believe, 16 or 17, just because that's how I like my cardigans, long. The yarn I'm using is the Fiber Company Air and More Light, and this is called the color Liated. And this is a blend of wool, cashmere, and I think silk. I have to look it up, but this is a lovely yarn. I've raved about the Fiber Company's yarn. I've loved all the yarns I've used by them. So they're a mid-range yarn. They're not too expensive. So I really like using their yarn because it's beautiful. And they also come in really nice colors. But this is the Winter's Beach Cardi by Andrea Mowry. Not much else to say. This is my first cable cardigan. I hadn't knit cables in years, and I really like it. It's fun. I'm excited to have this cardigan in my wardrobe. So my next whip I'm keeping in a bag that I made myself. Um, it's a shawl. I'm making the satellite shawl, another Andrea Mowry pattern. You're probably sick of seeing her patterns everywhere, but I don't care because I love them, and they're not everybody's style, but they're popular, so a lot of people do like them. But this is a satellite shawl, and yeah, so the yarn I'm using, so the pattern calls for La Bien-Aimée Helix, 2 skeins of this lace weight yarn, which is a mix of like Gotland and Falkland, maybe? I'd forget. I'll have to look. But it's lovely. It's got a fuzzy little halo, and it's held double as the main color. And this is the color French gray, and this is the color in the pattern on Ravelry. And it also calls for 3 skeins of La Bien-Aimée Kumo, which is the Surrey, which I didn't buy because it's expensive. I splurged on the Maine, so I decided to take the budget route for the Surrey. So these are the colors that I matched as close as possible to the sample because I wanted exactly the same as the one she has. And this is Lang Alpaca Superlight, which is a very affordable alpaca yarn. And the color is gold, rosewood. I think this is rosewood, and this is rose. Or it could be the other way around, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I matched them pretty well, and I think I did a pretty good job. It's working out amazing in the pattern. I mean, you can't even really tell. They're not the same yarns. I think they look so good together. And so I decided to finally teach myself brioche, so I could specifically make this shawl. And I tried to learn brioche like 2 years ago, and I couldn't get it. And I think it was because I was using a hat pattern that called for like the German twisted cast on or something, and I couldn't do it, and it just was very discouraging. So I finally decided to just cast on a swatch, the regular way, and then watch her tutorial for 2-color brioche. And guess what? I could do it, and it was easy, and it was so intuitive and so much easier than I thought. I made a swatch for the shawl in these colors, and my God, I love brioche. It was so awesome. It is so intuitive, at least for me. I put in a lifeline before each brioche section just because to be on the safe side in case I screwed it up, but it really wasn't that hard. Like, oh my God. All I want to do is knit on this shawl, but like I had other projects I need to finish. I had to finish the vest. If I needed a break from this vest, I would just sneak a few rows in. So this is just garter stitch, this dark pinkish short rows, and then this is the brioche. So like, I love this shawl. I cannot wait for it to be done. And I just love shawls, period. Yeah, so that's my satellite shawl. So those are my only 2 works in progress. Speaking of shawls, I have a plan. I know I'm going to be doing the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along shawl because I have FOMO. So I have never knit a Stephen West pattern. I had plans to make Vertices Unite, but I unraveled it because I wasn't really crazy about the colors I picked. I hadn't had that much knit on it, maybe like a few inches. And I undid it. And then I saw that his Mystery Knit Along this year is going to be a geogradient, which to me sounds like geometric, and it's going to be a gradient. So I figured it might be something that I would like. I don't know though, because every other pattern I've seen is not really my style. But, you know, the last mystery knit along I did last year, and it was Lisa Ross's Mountain Musing shawl. So I really liked doing that. I loved learning the different stitch patterns and the different techniques, and it was really fun to get a mystery clue, to get a clue every week and not really know what you were going to be knitting. So I liked that. The shawl I finished and it's beautiful. I'll pop a photo of it up, but I don't have it with me because I gifted it to my mom because it wasn't really a shawl that I would wear myself because it was a rectangle shape, which is not really my thing. So I gave it to my mom and she uses it on the back of her couch as like a blanket or like a decorative thing, and it works. So yeah, I'll show a photo of that. But anyway, I had went through my whole stash for 4 fingering weight colors that I thought would work as a gradient for the pattern, and a lot of it is variegated yarn. And the non-variegated yarns weren't really a gradient, so I decided to buy some, which I probably shouldn't have done, but because I have so much fingering weight in my stash from all the clubs or from the club that I'm in. But they I wanted the defined gradient lines. Like they kept saying you need to have defined lines in your colors when you make your swatch. So I made a swatch. I ordered the yarn. I ordered from Sonder Yarn, based out of Canada, their fingering weight Sunday morning 4-ply. And these are the colors I picked. Could you get any more girly? I don't think so. Absolutely love every single one of these colors. Okay, so this is not the order that they're going to be in, but this is the order. This is my gradient. Now, I cannot remember for the life of me the names of each one. So I'll just list the names and you can find them on their website. Dear Diary, I think is this dark color. Then there's Cut Flowers, which I believe is this this color right here, Cut Flowers. And then Sunday Kind of Love, which I think is the second color here. And then Sweet Tea, which is this light color. So when I ordered these, it was right before they put their kits up on their website. So they actually do have kits, or they had kits, I don't know if they still do, where they pick the gradients and put them in a kit for you to purchase. But I picked these out on my own before the kits were live on their website. So this is the swatch I made. I love it. It's so pretty. This yarn is really nice. It's rustic. It has a nice hand. It's it's not as soft as I thought it would be, to be honest. It doesn't bother me because I like rustic wool and I'm not bothered by it. So that's my swatch. So that starts in a few days. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping there's brioche because it's my new favorite thing to knit. Okay, so that's about it for plans. You know, I want to apologize for the fact that I just cannot look at the camera. I have a list of notes in front of me that is on a laptop right below the camera, so my eyes are going to that because one of the reasons I started this podcast is so I can get comfortable just speaking on the fly because it's something I struggle with. And I don't know if it's helping, but I'm trying my best here, so just bear with me. I also am going to talk about the Adirondack Wool and Arts Festival that happened last weekend. I mentioned it earlier. I signed up for a class with these two lovely ladies, two sisters, from 1941 Crafts. They own a farm, and they taught a class on making art bats. So I am not really into art yarn, but I enjoy looking at pretty bats of wool. I've never spun from a bat. I'm thinking about ordering some soon. I don't know yet, but I wanted to learn how to make it in case I decide to start getting into that kind of thing. Right now, I don't really have the room for all the equipment you need, but maybe someday. Anyway, I thought it would be fun to take. So we learned how to make art bats using a drum carder and taking different types of fiber, putting it in the drum carder, and running it through to blend them together. So I made an art bat, and this is a blend of different dyed fibers that they dyed. And look at that cute little lock. So nice. So this is, I believe there's mohair in this. There's wool, all different types of wool, alpaca, and yeah. It only went through the carder once. It could have gone through more, but we didn't have time. So look, see the little locks? They're so cute. There's even some vegetable matter in here. Anyway, look at that lock. Oh, so cute. So yeah, this is my first ever bat. And it's so pretty. I don't know when I'm going to spin this bat. I haven't been spinning, but maybe I'll get into spinning, do some spinning this week. I took this week off of work as a staycation, and I might do that. We'll see. So that's my art bat. I also came across a vendor called Courtney's Cozy Knits. She had some really cute stitch markers, and I had to get these. I actually went back to get them because they were so cute. Little octopus stitch markers. Yeah, you can check her out. She has a shop on Etsy. I looked at her shop. I think she's from Maryland, but all her stuff was really cute. And then, I came across a yarn dyer that I had never heard of, and her colors were just to die for. They were right up my alley. So moody, dark, lots of beautiful colors. And her yarn is called Lamb Strings Yarn. So I got these two. I was talking to her at her booth, and she told me where she was from. She said she lives in Selkirk, which is where I grew up. So I was shocked that I was like, wow, nobody's from Selkirk. It's a little town south of Albany that is very small. So I was shocked to hear that's where she was from. But yeah, so these are the two colors I picked. This is her fawn base, which is a blend of superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And this is the color Rapture. I love it. And then I had to get a Surrey because it was so fluffy and soft. And this color is Victorian. And this is 75% baby Surrey and 24% silk in her fluff base. No plans whatsoever for these. But I had to have them because they're beautiful. And I wanted to support a local dyer. So please go check her yarn out. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And now she even has, I was looking at her website, she has this Corriedale base. I forget the name of it, but something Corey. and all these beautiful colors. And she's working with the Battenkill Fiber Mill, which is a local mill, and it is great if you want some local yarn. Okay, so I have a few more things. I think this is my longest episode to date. I was a member of the fiber or the Farmer's Daughter Fibers sock club. I canceled my membership because I haven't been using the sock yarn that I've been getting. I love it all, but I have no plan for it, and I needed to cut an expense, so that was it, unfortunately. But my last bag of yarn, or my last subscription, was from September, and I'm going to open it. I haven't opened it yet. Figured I would do it now. And this is September's club colorway. I'm guessing it's green. Oh, no, it's not green. Even better. It is, oh, so pretty. Look at that. It is called, this is October's club colorway, called the Long-Nosed Bat, which their theme is wildflowers, so that is gorgeous. Gorgeous. And that will go with a lot of their other colors that I have. Okay, last but not least, I am going to open my most recent Nest Fiber Club colorway, which I also canceled because my fiber stash is getting a little too big, so I don't need any more. I decided to do this just to get a little bit of stash going, and I like fun surprises, so this, I believe, is September's club color. I did see this already online, so it's not a surprise, but this is called Cassiopeia in the Targhee, which I've never spun Targhee. That's exciting to me. This is August's club color. I'm pretty sure this will be my last one because I think I canceled it too before I could get September, so that's fine with me. But yeah, Targhee in the color Cassiopeia, which is gorgeous. Very bright and fun. Yeah. This winter I plan on doing way more spinning, so I'm glad I have that in my stash. Okay, so that is about it. I'm just looking through my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so that's about it for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. I will throw some footage in from the Adirondack Woolen Arts Festival. I'm planning to go to Rhinebeck in a couple of weeks. There's some things that are up in the air for me that weekend that might complicate my plans, but Rhinebeck's only an hour drive south, so it's not like hit or miss if I can't go. It's not a big deal. And there's always next year. And I was thinking, like, if my plans get thrown off and I have to attend Rhinebeck late, I'll be going later in the day. And if it's raining that day, probably not going to go. So we'll see. I can't go on Sunday because I have a baby shower to go to. So Saturday or nothing. So we will see. Hoping to go because it's Rhinebeck. But yeah, if you're planning on going, let me know. If you're from out of town and you're planning on going, let me know. I know a lot of podcasters I watch are planning on going that aren't from around here, which is so cool to me. Like, you're coming to upstate New York to go to a yarn festival. It's very cool. Very cool. So, hope everyone has a wonderful day, a wonderful week. By the next time I see you, probably be after Rhinebeck. So Yeah, thank you for tuning in. Bye.